Well, today is February the 1st. Did I say it right? February. You really don't hear the R unless I'm saying it wrong. Maybe that's what I'm doing, saying it wrong. February. February. But anyway, today is 2/1/2019. How about that? And yet I start again. But this time I am totally not by myself. Nor have I really ever been by myself, but I actually have a live physical person here to keep me accountable. Her name is Dr. Abby, and I see her 3 times a week for treatment for my shoulder or my right arm or whatever. And I thank God for it. So we are starting a 30-day challenge to become healthier. I'm not saying losing weight, although that helps and that will happen as long as I stick to what I'm being encouraged to stick to. I've had my measurements today, and my weight and my BMI, my body fat percentage, my waistline checked, my thigh, my arm, and everything. So we are going to do this, and I will not sabotage myself this time. And I will not treat myself to sweeties. As far as cake and cookies or donuts or whatever, that's just dumb. No more of that. That mindset has to go, and it is going. Now, the mindset is you have to change your thinking, right? So, my thinking is I believe I can. I've tried so many times to do it. Like I said, really back in 2015, I really went out there and just did some stuff. And I did see, the inches leaving first. People noticed it before I did. I was still looking at pounds at that time, and I didn't understand that you lose inches first usually. And so after a while, when I started wearing my little workout pants and how they fit on you, and I started seeing the little shapely coming out again. So yes, she can do it. I can do it. I will not be talking in third person. But yeah, I can do it, and I believe I can this time because again, I have help. I have someone that I can be accountable to, somebody I can talk to, and not only somebody that I can be accountable to and talk to, but somebody who's been there before. Because sometimes it's like you have these people who are these fitness gurus and they know all this stuff about your health and they tell you that you need to do this, you need to do that, da 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 da. But most of these people have never been fat. Go figure. So for me, and this is just me because I know everybody else is not like me, of course, thank God, and nor am I like anybody else, thank God. Have some similarities, but we're not the same. And I think differently, and I hate being categorized. I hate being put into the box like most women or people or Christians, believers, whatever, however you want to do it. I don't like that. We're all individual people. We may have some similarities. We may do some things that kind of resemble the same, but none of us are the same, and none of us think the same. None of us do the same things or do it the same way, whatever it may be. But I digress. Back to my subject. But yeah, I'm that person. It's like if you've not experienced, and I cannot say some of these words right, but it's okay. God is love. Um, if you've not experienced the things that I've experienced, it's kind of like, how can you really connect with me? Or how can I connect with you if you don't know the thinking process that people go through or that they have, the thoughts that people have, the thoughts that, come into our minds that we actually believe to be true about ourselves. And yes, we do realize that, after a while, like with me, the first experience I had with knowing that the enemy was infiltrating my thoughts is back in, let's see, I want to say 2004, 2005-ish, somewhere up in there. I was going through a whole lot of stuff. I had my third child by that time. He was a baby. I'm thinking, well, he was born in 2004, so I may have been pregnant still, or maybe I had already had him, or it could have been the following year before I got pregnant with my daughter. So, but I do remember instinctively that I was just going through a whole lot of stuff. I was angry. First of all, I was angry because I had another baby and my other baby was still a baby. And then I had my oldest son who was dealing with, his issues, his health issues. And, and there's a lot of stuff that I was holding on to. And I hate that I hold on to a lot of stuff. But God is love and he's delivering me. So, I don't know what that is. It's a spirit of something, but I don't know what it is. Can y'all tell me what it is? Okay. Tell me, hit me up and let me know what that is. But I am trying to, or I should say, I am praying continuously that the spirit of the sponge will be delivered from me. Because sponges soak up everything. I don't need to soak up everything. I sure don't need to hold on to everything. And I do not want to hold on to everything. I am getting better, so I will say that. Deliverance has come. It just has to be consistent with me and just quickly let things go. But some things unfortunately, you can't let go of quickly. But anyway, go back to my story. I was going through a lot of stuff, being angry, being depressed, just a lot of going on, at home with the kids, not working, which was okay to some degree, but it's like when you're isolated for so long and you have no other adult interaction, who can you really talk to? I mean, yeah, you can talk to Jesus, you can talk to God, and that's what I was doing. But it's like all these thoughts. Oh my God. All these thoughts. Somebody was interrupting my phone call, calling me. I don't have any dealings with Chase Bank, so stop calling me. But anyway, all of these thoughts were coming, just bamboozling my mind, just infiltrating my mind with negativity and lies, but I didn't know that they were lies. I thought they were my thoughts, So what happened one day is I was sitting in the middle of the room, of my living room actually, and my children, EJ, he was about three-ish. Yeah, he was 3. And Erin was about 1. And again, I don't know if Urian was here yet or maybe just born. But I was sitting in the middle of the room. And I didn't want my children to see me crying. Not that they were probably going to pay attention, but still, I just didn't want them to see me crying. They were babies, And so I sat there on, I don't know if it was a chair or a crate or whatever. And I covered my whole body with a blanket, a big comforter rather. And I just was like, God, help, And I just started crying just profusely. Profusely. I can't talk today. Jesus. But anyway, God is love. And so, I mean, that cry that it's like a cry of anguish, a cry of like you really need some help right now. It's that cry that causes your body to just quiver, And I was asking for help, because I felt like I was going crazy in that moment because all of these thoughts was just circling around my brain and my mind and my conscious and subconscious and, everything is just all at once. And it's like, so I just broke down crying. And what broke me out of it, which God always does this with me, he doesn't allow me to stay in stuff too long. He has a time limit for me to do, to stay in some things. But when when I feel like I'm going to stay in it too long, or I can't break myself out of it, or I go into it and he's like, not. So when I began to cry, my oldest son, Eric, he wasn't talking at the time, but he would make, different little noises. And at that time, we didn't know that he was dealing with autism. So he didn't get diagnosed until he was 4. But at that time, I don't know if he ran. Right now, I feel like I can remember his footsteps running towards me. But I can't really tell you if that's true or not. And it may be. But I just remember him pulling the blanket up. And he said, uh-oh. And pulled it down and went back to wherever he was and whatever he was doing. And that started me to laughing. So in that moment, I moved from that position, took the, came from up under the comforter, and I went to my computer. I had I think it was a compact computer at the time. It was a desktop. And I began to hear God say to me, no, this is not, he didn't say that first. What I heard was a click. You know those old time recorders that we used to have, with the red little dot on there, and you push record and play at the same time? That's what I'm talking about. I heard that click in the back of my head. And when I heard it, I heard God say, I want you to write down everything that you're hearing, because it's not your thoughts. It probably wasn't that specific like that, but I know that he caused that click, and I could hear the enemy talking to me. The enemy would say, nobody loves you. And then I will internalize it and say, don't nobody love me. The enemy would say, you're by yourself. And then I would internalize it and I would say, I'm by myself. Things like that. It was about 14 different things that the enemy was saying in my mind that I was internalizing and co-signing, and by saying so I was owning it. Has anyone else dealt with that? Are you dealing with it right now? Those are not your thoughts. Especially if they're negative. Those are not your thoughts. Why would a perfect God, a loving God, create perfect beings? Not in that we are perfect in ourselves, but we are made from perfection, which is him, made in his image and after his likeness. Why on earth would he want us to talk down to ourselves? Why would he even put those thoughts in our head? Because most people think, I don't know what y'all thinking. But, you might think it, why am I, I'm just thinking this about myself. But no, that's the enemy lying to you. Those are not even your thoughts, but you're owning them like they are yours because you don't know that they're not yours. You're so used to being negative or, thinking negatively about yourself. And I asked God yesterday, when did I become this person who thinks negatively like that? I was never that person. I hung around people, a couple of folk I could tell you about. I ain't gonna say their names, but at least a couple of people that I used to hang around. And one I kind of still do, but they were negative, as far as like just being negative. Everything wasn't like a happy go whatever. And you begin to take on those people's personalities. And so, but you don't know that. That's why you also have to be careful about who you hang around. Now, some people you can't help but hang around them because, you're around them. They may be in your family, or they may be at your job. And it's not so like you're under them or you're not buddy with them or, it's nothing like that. It's just you're around them a lot, And so I just asked God, when did I become that person? I don't like that person. I don't like that part of myself that has become a part of me, being negative. So yeah, the mindset is what's changing. The mindset has to change, because if I put something on my Instagram a couple of days ago, because I was thinking, yes, I have thoughts. Yes, most of them are good. I'll tell you that. And they're actually inspiring. And so, but the thought was something like, I said something like, the number one rule to failure is believing that you will. Or the number one rule to failing is believing that you will. There we go. And I said, let's change that. So most of the things that I've tried to do, I thought I was believing that it could be done. I thought that I was believing what God said about me. I thought I was believing that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But the fact of the matter is, I was not believing it because of my past failures. I've tried, again, many times to lose this weight. In the back of my mind, it ain't gonna happen. Go get that donut. Ooh, I want a donut. No, you don't. That's the devil wants you to have a donut. And then you give in because he knows that's your weakness. I remember years ago, after my daughter was born, I believe, I just developed, during my pregnancy with her, I developed this real sweet tooth. Oh my God. And you talking about pain? Because I was dealing with cavities and everything. You know, I didn't know she was sucking the life out of my calcium in my teeth and everything. But I just was craving, you know, sweets so much with her. And I had to force myself to eat real food. Not that I was indulging in the sweets like that. I just had that craving for it. Well, after she was born, I asked God to deliver me from the sweet demon. And let me tell you something. He did it. I mean, like, instantly. Sometimes right now, I'd be like, God, I need one of them instant miracles, you know, deliverances. But a lot of times I don't get that. Most of the time I don't get that. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, the mindset has to change. And again, I need to lose this weight. Physically and emotionally, mentally, and somewhat spiritually, you know? Because my inner man is crying out, and the real true me is crying out. Break free. So I used to say this thing all the time. I'm breaking free to become the me I see. And I see a smaller... Oh my God, he just hit this car. OMG. I'm glad I wasn't videoing, because I would have been a witness. But he actually just hit this car. Oh, she hit the car trying to get in. Okay. But anyway, I digress again. Back to what I was saying. Yeah, so I now can see the smaller part of me. The smaller version of myself. I mean, I see what I want. I know what I need to do. And that's the other thing. How can you have what you're wanting to have if you don't want to work hard to get it? I felt like everything, and I feel like I'm getting ready to cry, so excuse me if I do. I feel like everything I've ever had in my life that's worth something, I had to fight for it. Didn't nothing come free for me. Nothing came easy for me, despite popular belief. I've never had anything given to me. Never. Except for the gifts, of course. But even with that, I ain't asked for it. God did it for himself. They're for him. They're not for me. They're for him. Yeah. The lady right there, she hit your car. I just had to let them know. But I don't think she did nothing to it, but it's just the fact that she did. She hit it. But anyway, we'll see what happens with that. But poor thing. But yeah, it's and the thing of it is I guess I felt like, dang, I mean, why I gotta fight for everything? Why everything gotta come so hard for me? You know? And that's pride. At the same time, it's like, I don't know, somebody help me out. Why? I'll tell you why. It's because most times, if things come too easy for you, you won't value it. And you'll go back into whatever it was that you were in when you achieved it. Or before you achieved it, I guess. Does that make sense? So it's like, if you have to fight for it to get it, oh, you better believe you're going to fight to keep it. See, I'm preaching to myself. Thank you, Jesus. I am preaching to myself. Thank you. Come on, somebody. You got to preach to yourself, y'all. Come on. But yeah, nothing in life is easy. Nothing in life is going to come easy for you. And if it does, I feel sorry for you. If everything that you've ever gotten in your life has been easy, I really feel sorry for you. And I want to pray for you, because I don't know. What have you learned if it came easy for you? What have you gained from it that's going to help you get to the next level, and being better than where you were on yesterday or 5 minutes ago or 1 second ago? So these are the lessons that I'm learning, and the epiphany right now is that once I achieve it, I ain't going back. Ain't nobody got time for that. All right. So yeah. Mindset has to change. And I like Dr. Abby because, again, I was, skeptical when, she started talking about, the weight loss or whatever. And she's not only a chiropractor who believes in holistic healing, she's also a nutritionist, a certified nutritionist, and also a certified fitness trainer. I got 3 for 1, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And so, again, I see her 3 times a week. And God set this thing up. He will answer your prayer, and He will put you in places where you need divine connections. I met this lady through her employee, who I drove to work, because I drive for Uber. Yes, I do. And I'm telling you, my vehicle has become a counseling facility for people. And I pray that whomever rides in this vehicle with me, of course, we're protected and shielded. I'm protected and shielded. And I bind all evil intentions, or spirits of racism or prejudices, of anger, of suicidal thoughts, murder thoughts, of bitterness and depression and all these types of things. And I loose the Holy Spirit's peace. I loose His love. I loose His joy. I loose the hedge of protection that's over me. I loose His angels to surround and cover us, as we're driving, as I'm riding in the car, and I've had some fascinating conversations with people. I've learned so much driving with Uber by just talking to people from all walks of life, from all over the world. I mean, over the world. I've met people from Russia, from Astoria, from Ecuador, from Cuba, from Norway, England. I mean, all kinds of people. Even, of course, here in Houston and the Woodlands and everywhere. And a lot of things that I have been wanting to know, I've just opened my mouth, started talking, asking questions, and I have found out some stuff. I mean, I actually had a free small business owner counseling session with a guy that has a business, and how he got started and how hard it was, and how they didn't, when they started, him and his partner, they didn't want to pay themselves until the business was, where it needed to be. And after 5 years, they're now paying themselves. I've learned so much. So why am I saying that? It's because oftentimes I felt like, and I feel like, my life has been wasted because I'm not doing what I've been called to do, per se, or I'm not fully into what I've been called to do. And that is only because I felt like I've wasted a lot of time putting a lot of energy into other things for other people and not myself. And I've wasted a lot of time really not spending that real good, how they say. I said I was never going to do that, but I just did it. God is love. Time with God to really build myself up and become really confident in Him, because it's not about me, to get me where He wants me to be in Him and in my call. And I don't like mediocrity. And I feel like driving for Uber has been mediocre because it's not my destiny. It's not my call, but it's something that I prayed about. And God has been providing through that. And I'll talk about that, the provision, next time on the next video. But you have to be thankful and you have to be grateful for the places that you find yourself in. Even if it's a place of disobedience. Not saying that I've been disobedient in this place to a degree of just outright disobedience. But, and not saying that me driving with Uber is not a divine connection. Because again, I've learned so much from just talking to people, opening my mouth and just asking questions. Not everybody has wanted to talk to me, but, and that's all good. We just listen to my music and I don't change it. I barely change it. I go from gospel on the satellite radio to sometimes I'll put 99.1 in, other, because a lot of times what I listen to on, especially from Spotify in my my own compiled playlist is a bit too heavy for people in the car. They don't know nothing about that there. They don't know nothing about that there. But anyway, and other times I don't. Like in the mornings, I just keep it where it is. You know, that smooth, that soft, that intimate worship. You know, and I'll just be up here just humming or whatever. You know. But for most times, it's like 99.9% of the time, I'm listening to what I like to listen to. Nobody dictates what I listen to in this car, but me. And it's been all good. I've gotten compliments about how peaceful the ride has been. I've got compliments on how a lady last year, you know, she was so grateful that, you know, that I allowed her basically to vent because she was going through some stuff on her job and she was just really venting, and I just listened, and I offered a little bit of, consolation, I guess that's what it's called, or comfort or whatever, just comforting words. But I also had that's another thing I have on is Dr. Tony Evans. I'll have him on, or Nancy Lee DeMoss, when they're on. But that day, in the midst of her venting and everything, I had him playing. And when she was done, I just turned it up a little bit. And she listened to the message that he preached that day. And when I got back into my little area of my profile or whatever, and this was like maybe, I don't know, a few days or a week afterwards, I saw her comment thanking me for allowing her to vent and also for allowing her to listen to the preacher's words, because it really helped her and it encouraged her for the day. So that kind of stuff right there, God will use you wherever you are. So do not discount the place that you're in. I don't care. Do not discount the place that you're in. It may not be the place you want to be, but it may be the place that God has placed you in just for that time, so that he can work things out of you. He can work things into you. He can, allow you to see where you're not, allow you to see where you are. He can use it because he said that I will, all things work together for our good. So don't ever discount where you are. Now, if you're in a place where you're not supposed to be, get out of it. Please, get out. You know the movie? Get out. So get out. But anyway, this is supposed to be about my exercising and my becoming healthy. But yeah, I am becoming healthy because I'm losing weight. Not only am I losing physical weight, but I'm losing internal weight that I have to lose, So I don't know how often, because every time I try to do something like this, it don't ever last. And I don't know if that's just me or is it the enemy. It could be the enemy because he don't want me to tell y'all some stuff to help you get free. But yeah. And when I don't say a lot, it's only because I'm thinking. I was in the shower and I was thinking about that. I'm like, yeah, my methods of processing are not like anybody else's. I become quiet. Sometimes you got to be quiet. Even in the midst of chaos, even in the midst of people acting up around you and trying to strike a nerve, which they be trying to do it, but I try to stay holy, so I don't indulge in it, but I have a conversation with the Lord. Yes, I do. And at the appointed time, when it's for me to say something, I will. But until then, I'm trying to keep it holy. So I'd rather not say anything. Okay? But, yeah. So, I'm restarting again. And this time, it's going to last. Because this is changing. And I now believe that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Amen? Pass the offering plate. It's time to give unto the Lord your best offering. As we're dismissed for today. May the Lord watch over you and me throughout this day. I don't know all the scripture, but anyway. May the Lord watch over us so that we can do what we need to do and continue to allow him to do what he's doing and not blocking the process, just going through it and allowing him to go through it with us, because we are not alone. And now that I actually have someone to walk alongside with me in this journey, knowing that she herself was once overweight and I saw her picture, I can do this thing. All right, so we're going to get her done. And as I continue to lose this weight, and this physical weight, baby, stay tuned. This is more for me if it ain't for nobody else. I love you all. And I love me. I like me. Sound like somebody drunk, but I'm never drunk except in the Holy Ghost. Never been drunk except in the Holy Ghost. But yeah. So, weight loss. Amen.